So Jonathan Pageau is a Greek, I think, or an Orthodox Christian anyway, and an artist. And his videos have significantly changed the way I look at the meaning of Christian doctrine. And I sort of have this sense that he would know how to connect this idea of the winning meme to pre-existing Christian doctrines in a way that I don't know how to. I do have a Christian background, but I was raised by a Mormon and a Southern Baptist, so I never even really considered the Orthodox ideas, and only a little bit the Catholics because my best friend was Catholic. But as I've been thinking through this idea of the winning meme, well, certain traits that seem like they would contribute to making a meme successful and potentially making a meme the most successful seem to be coming back to certain Christian doctrines. So the winning meme is this idea. A meme is, an idea, but it's this term invented by Richard Dawkins to emphasize that memes are subject to a type of Darwinism. They're subject to a selection process. Memes, ideas, they get in our heads in the first place by being, some of them, easier to find than others, or simpler than others. There's the Christian insistence that God is a simple idea, and that's one of the ways that memes make themselves discoverable. But then out of the discoverable memes, some of them are stickier than others. They catch in your mind, or they'll encourage you to spread them to other people. And so some memes are more successful than others at propagating. And a lot of memes will compete by making themselves sticky. They'll make it hard to look away from them, and that's how they'll gain a competitive advantage. So you might have a lot of memes that make you afraid to look away from them or afraid not to share them. You have memes that make you feel guilty or grieving or ashamed or offended not to look at them, not to hold them, not to spread them. But it seems to me that whatever meme is the most successful of all, because there has to be one, and also we apparently haven't found it yet because it hasn't won, at least not yet. So whatever the winning meme is, one of the traits that might make it so successful is that it does not compel at all, which makes it safer to deal with and also makes it more efficient. Because a meme which sort of threatens you into carrying it is weakening its own carriers. And that can be an effective strategy, but it maybe just can't outcompete a strategy which instead strengthens its carriers. And part of the idea of the winning meme is that it has to somehow win the mimetic battle royale via a runaway victory process. We haven't seen any meme do this before, but we do hear a lot of people, a lot of wise people, emphasizing this idea that love is like the thing that'll save the world, that will conquer the world, that God is love, that the winning meme might therefore be love. And no version of love has successfully done this so far, but if you think about the kind of love that might be able to do this, it seems like it would have to be a kind of love that can respond to obstacles by growing stronger rather than weaker. And the kind of love that's been spread in our time seems to have a little bit the opposite effect. It seems almost like a perverted type of love, because the popular conception of love is a sort of rejection of non-love in the name of lifting up love, which, it's talking about love, it's supposedly lifting up love, but it is not enacting love, because what it's actually enacting is rejection or even hatred. And so people will say, love is so important, and so if you're hateful, we reject you because you're not loving enough. And it's like, That's not doing love, though. Love of this more radical and potentially more mimetically successful and transformative kind would love hatred. And of course, it would love love. And it wouldn't be closed minded to closed mindedness. It would have a certain openness to it, a love for it. The same thing with intolerance. It would love tolerance, but it would also love intolerance. It would radically sort of love everything and then distinguish between them, but not on the basis of not loving one option or the other, loving both and then making a decision based on something else other than love, like a king choosing an heir, not because he doesn't love all of his children equally, let's suppose, but because one of them is simply, the right choice here. And so this flavor of more radical love seems like it could meet an obstacle, and instead of being weakened by it and accepting it as an enemy and a foe and engaging in that inefficient, head-to-head sort of fight, this kind of love could potentially gain strength from facing foes by loving the foes so much that it can make a case for them joining it as an ally and forming a coalition. And if you're trying to deal with a meme or an agent that is willing to love all foes, and you're there, and let's say you're one of its foes, and you're like, should I join this one or not? Like, yes, it loves me, but I'm kind of out for my own thing, and I want to be at the top. I want to win. Every meme wants to win. So why would I join in with this meme and let it be the victor instead? And it's like, well, how many other of your opponents are going to make that deal? Because the more of them do and the more powerful that coalition grows, at some point it's like, it's the best you can do. It's just like, you're not gonna win. It's gonna win. And your best bet at that point is just to throw in with it and enjoy the fact that its victory does not mean necessarily your defeat, at least not in the fullest sense. Because its victory means something that loves you is in charge, something that's on your side is in charge. And its victory, therefore, means your survival. You don't even have to worry about your own survival if it can do it. If it somehow can win and then take care of your needs for you. So that can be a tempting offer. And so as this type of love meets obstacles, it offers allyship to them. And it offers a deal that its victory becomes their victory. That even if they refuse the deal and work purely selfishly to try to propagate themselves, they'll still achieve less for themselves than they would if they joined the coalition and were the beneficiaries of all of the power that goes along with that kind of cooperation. So the winning meme might be able to hit obstacles, but then incorporate them into itself and go from foe to foe in this spiraling process that incorporates everything it touches, or at least everything that's willing to accept that deal sooner or later, and ultimately come out as victor. So this flavor of love, it sounds very much like some Christian doctrines. And in particular, it reminds me of what I've heard Pageau discussing with regards to Theosis, with this idea that God wants to make all the non-God things as much a part of God as possible. And that all of them are sort of placed within the structure in an appropriate role, where they're not defeated just because something else wins, but instead they're lifted up because of its victory. And they get to have more of what they want than they would if they tried to pursue it on their own. And they participate in this whole that incorporates like everything in theory. Like you say, well, some memes or some decision procedures, some like game theoretical strategies might reject that deal. And the Christian claim is sooner or later they all accept. Like maybe they don't accept the first time around. Well, part of the thing that makes the winning meme win is that it's willing to make the offer eternally. And the bigger the coalition grows and the more obvious the ultimate outcome of the battle royale becomes, more and more opponents who originally rejected the deal maybe come around and say, yeah, maybe after all. And they participate in God, but everything is now participating in God. And in some sense, that is God or something. The Christians insist that it's not just an idea, it's not just a meme, it's not just a dynamic or a game theory or a decision procedure. It's an actual agent. This is the claim. And yet, somehow the agent is also everything. So I really don't know where to connect the dots here, but it seems to me, as I think more and more about which traits make the winning meme what it is, the inevitably winning meme, it does resemble the Christian doctrines more and more. And in particular, the way I've appreciated Jonathan Pageau talking about them. And on the other hand, it hasn't won yet, has it? I'm saying it. Whatever the winning meme is it something like love? Is it God? Are those the same thing? That's a hypothesis. But you look at the world and it hasn't won yet, apparently, because the winning meme wins. It spreads, it propagates more successfully than every other meme. And there's no meme that has successfully propagated to fill the whole world. And if it is something like love, then when it wins, it should also unite the world. And that hasn't happened either. So that's basically where I'm at with the comparison of God to the winning meme at this point. And I'd love any dot connecting that Pageau or anybody who appreciates his work can bring to sort of where I'm at with this analysis so far.